Okay, front suspension, we're going to put the, oh, get out of the way. We're going to put the front fork back together, or the front shocks back together. And I was just waiting for these rubber dust seals to come in, which they finally did. But slip these on first, because you're not getting it past the little, on the one side you can probably slip it over, but this side, the brake side, you're not going to be able to get it past here. So small end first, pop that over, spring clip, washer, okay, I'll make sure this is really clean so we can see the holes. Collar, there's a split side. That is the side you're going to be pushing in from. You don't push in from, oh, sorry. Plastic collar goes, the large part goes downward, so it hits the washer. Now the collar. And again, the split side is the side you're going to be pressing in from. And now you're going to have to match up the hole in this part of the shock with the hole in the fork leg and the collar. Make sure that's lined up. Collar. Pin. It should start going in there without any resistance. Oh wait, other side. Is the hole bigger on this side? I believe. Yeah. Split part. And this is a bit of a bugger, to say the least, to get them all lined up. It's not quite simple. There's not a smaller end on this pin. Oh, there we go. I believe that is starting. I'm going to put it in the vise and gently press the pin through. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Push it in until it's flush. You don't want it sticking out. It's not going to go all the way through this end. You want it flush with this end. I'm going to use the drift to tap it the tiniest bit down in there because it's sticking out a tiny little bit. Okay, now I'm going to coat everything in quite a bit of grease here inside the collar, like here, so that the collar gets on it, and then all over the spring. So I refilled my grease gun, so we're back to blue grease. Don't let me forget to take that bolt out before I drop this down the fork leg. Okay, let me set up the camera and then we'll finish the installation. Just turn it. Remember which side you're on too. This is the right hand side. Side with the brake has the big pin. Ah, you didn't warn me. Take the bolt out. I'm going to drop this gently back in. Okay. Snap ring pliers, just had them. God, how do I feed myself? I just used the damn things. Where did I put them? I swear to God, my brain sometimes isn't one. I'm gonna use needle nose pliers. That's why we slipped this snap ring on, because we can't get it around here once the fork leg's in. I'm gonna push that washer down, in, and snap ring. Hopefully this is, yes. Oops. If you watched video number 1, you'll see how these come out, and this is the same way they're going back in. Pushing the ring down until it seats in its groove. Come on. I shouldn't say anything. I'm the one that lost my snap ring pliers in 5 minutes. Okay. That's seated in its groove. Bolt. From underneath. Oops. Underneath. I'm not going to tighten it all the way. I'm just going to make sure it's actually threading in. Okay. So you see this? Woo, woo. You see the snap ring in there? Can you see it? Seated in there. And then these boots, they came right from Honda, but I tested out this side so I could see if this fit over, because it didn't look like it was gonna. I can't get it over the fork leg. It should pop over top. Oops, it should pop over top. I'll force them on there or whatever, because they're supposed to be on there. It shouldn't make that noise, but it's only making that noise because the bottom bolt's not tightened. But it is. They can only turn so far. See, they only turn a certain amount. And that's because they're locked in at the top, so that when you tighten this, the whole thing doesn't spin. You know what, I'm gonna set up the camera and we'll install the front wheel so I can finally put this on the ground and not have to carry it everywhere. Back in 1 second. I'm not getting any closer because this is gonna be a new project picked up today. First person who names this in the comments, I will send you something really cool, completely free of charge, shipping, everything. I will pay for it. I don't care where in the world you are. I will send you something sweet. What is it? Okay, we're going to finish this up by installing the front wheel. First, I got to take my axle off. Okay, and simply this slot here on the brake side goes into the pin on the brake side arm. And I wish I had another hand. Ugh. Stay. Stay. Ah. Come on. Ugh. Where the hell is the hole? Come on. Come on. There we go. Hole discovered. Pop. An axle nut. I'm not tightening these yet. Front brake. Through the top hole. I don't know if you can see that, but through the, can you see it? Let's move it so you can. Through the top triple tree hole on the brake side, and then comes to the inner part. And these two bolts. Yeah. Mosquitoes. There's a thinner part of this slot that it goes through. Of this bolt. Ugh. Oh no, I'm thinking of something else. Oh, there's a thinner spot there. Now screw it. I'm just gonna take it all the way off and get it to the cable. And it goes through. And the nut goes back on. Again, I'm not tightening all this stuff up yet and doing the final adjustment. I'm just getting it out of my way so it's not hanging. Brake adjuster nut. Collar. Get in there. Spring goes on this side. This goes through the hole in the collar. See the hole in the collar? That's what we're aiming for. And then put the adjuster nut on. And all this stuff is out of my way. I can actually... Okay, you're trying to tell me I didn't grab those. You saw that I didn't. Those were not there, were they? Were those there? If you saw those there, please let me know. My house is haunted, by the way. I'm not crazy. But, yeah, those were not sitting there. There's no freaking way those were sitting there. Honestly, could I have missed them? Whatever. If you know a priest, let me know. I am going to go back in the video and check and see if it was there, but, you know, you can call me an idiot if you want. I haven't been drinking, swear to God. So, well, let's turn this little sucker upside down and we'll see what we got. Back in 1 second, I'm going to move that bench. So what do you think? Are we getting there? Let's put the, we'll just set the finished tank. On top. And we'll set the seat semi on. Well, that's not exactly it, but hey, it's looking good. Almost looks new. What are we doing? Anyway, that's it for tonight. This camera out of the tripod. That's all we got for tonight. I think I got the handlebars too far back. Yeah, I think so. We got to move forward a little bit. But anyway, that's what we got so far. We are getting pretty much on the finish line. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Okay, fuel tank installation. The two little rubber stoppers. They just go over top of those little pegs in the frame. And then there is a round rubber washer with a big end on the bottom and a small end on top. And that's for that back bolt right there. It goes through. So I'm just going to pop that on and bolt on the seat, and we're almost looking like a motorcycle. Okay, installed the front fender the same way the rear fender is installed, which is on the front there's only 2 grommets, little rubber grommets that go through the bolts go through. There's 4 on the rear, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and then these collared bolts go through the grommet on the bottom and into the frame there. And then these 2, there's just 2 longer, where are they? Shorter, they're all 10mm bolts. So anyway, I'm gonna get this set up. These 2 had a little collared washer on them for the top, and I can't find the bottom ones. Had these original collared washers, but I've only got 1, so I'm not going to reuse it. The collared washers, I'm just using a regular washer. Easier with this wheel back a little further. Now these grommets in the Fender, you don't have to get them from Honda. You can just use universal grommets, like a universal grommet kit. They're like $5 on Amazon or eBay. I've always got a bunch of them kicking around because you never know when you're going to need them. They're just wiring grommets. They do the exact same job. Instead of paying $3 a piece, you're paying about 10 cents each. I'll finish putting those 10mm bolts on and we'll be back when that's done. Okay, for the sake of clarity, I took those shouldered washers. Where did I put them? These shouldered washers are not for the rear fender. They're for the plastic chain guard. If I make a mistake, I correct it. So I just pulled the bolts out and put a regular washer in there between the grommet and the bolt. And where are we going next? I have to bolt on the ground wire. Back in 1 sec. Okay, so the colored washers go into the chain cover. And then 2 10mm bolts. And bolt them on. Back in 1 second, we're done putting this on, 2 10mm bolts. Okay, we're getting close. What did I do last night before someone showed up? The chain guard. Fuel hose from the fuel petcock to the carburetor. And I'm not using the original style little wire clamps. I'm using the larger spring clamps. They just hold better. Sometimes you need pliers too. to squeeze the little ends in, but it does have a much better grip. Front hose on the carb. Oops. Put that clamp back. To the petcock. Alrighty then. Cannot mount the air filter yet because I don't have the little rubber in between, the little boot that goes between the carb and the air filter. But the air filter is all ready to go. Before I put the exhaust on, should we start it? I think we should. I just have to put that ground wire on, which the ground wire there, which goes up and mounts up where the air filter does, up underneath. There's a little bolt up underneath by the carburetor, but I can ground that anywhere. You know what? I'm going to put a little bit of gas in. Oh, we'll see if our petcock leaks too. So back in a sec. Okay, I put a little gas in the gas tank. Premium non-ethanol fuel only in all old bikes. Just do it. It's going to keep your carb clean. It's going to keep stuff from fuel lines from rotting and that kind of stuff. It's just much better. Anything with ethanol in it is going to turn to goo inside the carburetor float bowl if you leave it sitting for more than a month or two. So premium only. I've put oil in the crankcase. The little top valve adjustment, I took this off and poured a little bit of oil down there because the bike hasn't, you know, run in a long time. So, and now with the ignition off, I'm just cranking. To just disperse oil throughout the engine because it hasn't had oil in it for a bit. And we are on reserve. And let's see if we've got spark with our spark plug. I'm using, because I don't have the ground wire for the ignition hooked up, I just, for the ignition, well, for the kill switch, I just temporarily grounded it with alligator clip. So let's see if we've got some spark. I'll move you in so you can see it. Where are we going to ground to? Right here. Well, let's grounding. You know what? Let's just do, oops, other way around. Let's just do that. And we have spark. Okay, so I'm gonna reground this because I want to be able to shut it off because I don't have the exhaust on there. And that's the only reason I want to hook up the kill switch, because I don't want it, I have to choke it to kill it. So anyway, I'm gonna put that spark plug in and be back in 1 sec. Okay, before we try kicking it over, let's see if there's fuel getting in. I want to see fuel come out of the overflow there. The carb drain, the float bowl drain. Oh, do I need a smaller screwdriver? I might. Nope. Oh, yes. Dribble, dribble, dribble. We're going to replace that screw with the original finger knob. Little one you don't need a screwdriver with. Okay, ignition on. Yep. Choke. Which way's choke? That's choke. Try it without choke. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna do that by hand. Huh. Z50r. We are getting fuel in there, aren't we? Let's try half choke. Okay, and we are getting spark. Let's ensure that again. We get a different plug back in a sec. Okay, I'm getting spark. I checked, and my petcock, not a lot of fuel. It's I keep opening the drain valve, and not a lot of fuel is getting through. So I think the strainer in the tank, something in the petcock is a little bit clogged. So we're going to resort to propane. I'm just going to lightly open the propane bottle and put it in the throat of the carb. I just want to see if it runs. I've never run this bike before. So, hey! Sweet! Okay, it runs. It runs very smoothly, actually. No muffler on it yet. So it looks like my problem is the petcock. Great, I've got the gas tank half full of gas. It was fine. Oh, why is that dripping out the petcock? Isn't that closed? Oh, I left it open because it wasn't draining. Hold on, the petcock is closed. Or the drain is closed. And it's still dribbling out. What's going on here? So we're probably getting gas in there now, I would think. I think I need a new petcock. It looks like it's dripping here through the seal. Let's try starting that again. I think there is gas getting in there now. Once it ran, this is overflowing from the... Yeah, I can see gas building up there on the petcock, so that's our problem. Let's just try starting it again. No. Okay. Or is it our second-rate carburetor? Maybe. Let's turn the choke off and see. It's still overflowing. Yeah, not good at all. Let's shut that off. And that's where the gas is supposed to overflow to, but let's try the propane trick again. Yeah, that petcock is not working properly at all. Now it's probably flooded from the fuel and the propane. So, petcock problem. Be back when I get a petcock. But at least we know it runs. Okay, I just kicked it a few more times. It's now running on the carb. Idle's too low. That's the screw right kill switch. Kill switch works. Let's kick it again. Okay, so this runs beautifully. And no more drips, weirdly enough. I don't know why it was dripping at first. You know, that carb probably sat in an Amazon, that's where I got it from, Amazon. Probably sat on an Amazon shelf forever, and the little rubber seals just need a little bit of lubrication in there for the little float bowl seal to seal up, because it's not dripping or leaking at all anymore. And the gas is on. It's pointed up, so it's on. Nice. Time to put the exhaust on. Okay, put the side cover on and the chain guard and the shifter on, since we know it's running. The timing is dead on it, so it's running really good. So there's no reason to have that off, because I'm not gonna have to adjust any of that. Kickstarter's now on. They're just 10mm bolts. We've shown how to take them off. Same method for putting them on. And we're just going to install the exhaust now. Now, I don't have the new exhaust gaskets. I'm going to use the old ones because I want to hear it running with the damn exhaust on. Just because I do. So I'm going to get all that stuff ready, and we're going to put the muffler on. Okay, there's the object of my brain fart, this mount in the back. It curls over the muffler and up. I thought it went down for some reason. But anyway, there's the bolt hole for it. And I'm just gonna have to redo those little washer halves, which my brain, in an amazing effort, I realized, gee, maybe you just hold them together like this and tuck the whole thing in at once. Wouldn't that be a lot easier? Yeah, probably. Anyway, I'm gonna put those back on and back in 1 second. Okay, with the front loosely in, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of pulling to get this back, because there's another bolt on the back there that goes through a hole right there, and they're the tiniest bit off. Wow. Like, really off. I think now, why would that be so warped? It's not extremely, but just enough to not fit through this mounting hole. And this one up here. There's no more wiggle room there. That's for damn sure. Going to have to pry this back a little bit. Okay. That bolt doesn't want to go straight in either. It's a 13, but I can straighten it with the socket while I'm putting it in. And that brings everything into alignment. Put this on a low setting. Tighten these up a tiny bit. Okay. Not touching my fender anywhere. Nice. Okay, we'll get ready and we'll get this thing started with a muffler on and see what it sounds like. Okay, turn fuel on. On. I'm not going to choke it. Wow, first kick. Nice. Oh, we got a bit of a drip there still. gone. It might just because the bike leans this way, that way on its kickstand. Oh. That's just the exhaust, the gasket there rattling. Let's tighten that up with a wrench. Look at that leak going on. I'm also making the assumption this carb comes adjusted properly from the factory. Hey, where's that coming from? Puffing out of there. We got a cylinder head leak. Yep. So the cylinder head's loose. Huh. Well, that's fun. It's not a big deal though. I mean, even with a leaking cylinder head, it's still running ridiculously well. Ooh, see the puff? Right there. Okay, we have to tighten the cylinder head bolts. Oh, self-canceling. Okay, so we'll get to that. I'm gonna start it again and run the fuel out of the carb so it doesn't drip. The fuel off. Yeah, I thought at first that was the exhaust rattling. It was not. Cylinder head bolts are no big deal. Probably just loose. If it needs a gasket, I'll put a gasket in. It's not a big deal. Sweet. Okay, that's where we end for the day. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Okay, this thing is dripping a little bit of gas, so I'm going to do this quick. I am going to tighten the bolts here to what they should be. When I took the when I did the valve adjustment, I did not retighten the cylinder head bolts. I completely forgot. They were like finger tight. They should be about 10.5 foot-pounds, about 125 inch-pounds. So give me one sec. Back on so you keep running. Don't leak on me. There we go. Get some fuel back in the float pole, and we can do this while it's running. Cross pattern. No more leaky. And no more gassy. Leak gone. Again, if you couldn't hear it when the bike was running, when we did the valves and I put the cylinder head cover back on, I just finger tightened them. I forgot to completely tighten them up. I think I tightened them a little bit, but was waiting to do the final torque and completely forgot. But either way, there's a bolt that goes all the way through, and those hold everything together. The base gasket, the cylinder head gasket, and the top. What was it on inch pounds again? It's 120 inch pounds. Yeah. About 120, 125 inch pounds, which divided by 10, so 10 foot-pounds times 12, 120 inch pounds, approximately 120, 125 inch pounds, about 10 and a half foot-pounds. Kilograms per meter, no clue. Oh God, let me do the quick, 1.2, I think, approximately. Anyway, this is it for today. I've got no bolts for my exhaust shields, and I don't have a new exhaust gasket. So we're running. Everything works perfectly, and happy days. Other than that kind of screwed us up for a second, but we're still good to go, aren't we? Back when we get some more parts in to finish this. I lied. One more thing for the day: clutch adjustment, because I had the bolt out. So I'm just going to loosen the 14 mil bolt. Okay, and I'm going to turn this counterclockwise until I feel a bit of resistance. Right there. Go back about 1/8 of an inch, a couple of millimeters. I'm going to put my wrench back on there. Hold the bolt, the screw in the middle from moving, and tighten. Now what this does is the clutch on the bike, hard to explain. There is a clutch, but it's automatic. You push your foot down on the shifter on the other side. You push down, and while you're holding it, the bike shouldn't be able to move. It should be like the clutch is pulled in on a regular bike, and when you let go of the shifter again, then it should engage. So you hold it down, give it some throttle. It shouldn't move or try to move while you're holding it down. And then you let up on the shifter pedal, and it'll go. And you push down again for second gear. Same thing for third. So it doesn't just jam it into gear. It's actually holding it while you're holding the pedal down. It's like having a clutch pulled in. So that's the adjustment. And again, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and that's about it. Thank you very much.